one last question, which was actually about a controversy that developed a few months ago. And that was ABC News had broke a story about a contribution to your campaign from Alton Coal Development. There's a controversy where whether or not a decision was fast-tracked, that a mine was approved near Panguitch. There's lots of residents that had expressed some severe opposition to that, given their concerns about coal. And you just mentioned that coal is still a very important part of the quiver of what we need to develop our energy.
It's an arrow in the quiver.
Yeah, an arrow in the quiver.
It's an important arrow.
But there was controversy in terms of how residents perceived that there were some people that labeled that an attempt at influence by Alton Coal. And it certainly has the appearance of seeming like a compromised decision. So that controversy, how can the public take your commitment and your involvement to things like the Clean Air Challenge or having this kind of multifaceted approach to energy seriously? I mean, does an incident like that, how does that affect your credibility? Isn't it on the line?
Well, I can tell you, the allegations in the story are distorted and not true. So, you know, you can make accusations all that you want, but the facts are different. Alton Coal had their request for permits in for, you know, about 2.5 years and trying to get their permits. The only thing that happened was that they contacted me and the Department of Natural Resources and Oil, Gas, and Mining and said, hey, we would like to sit down with you and the governor because we've been waiting for a long, long time to get our permit. We've met every criteria that you've asked us to meet. And under the law, they believed they were entitled to a permit. That meeting was scheduled. It happened right here in this room. They came down, they sat. I sat at the end of the table. The people from Oil, Gas, and Mining talked to the Alton Coal people, who I wouldn't recognize if they walked in the door right here today. And they said, we've reviewed your case. You have complied with the law, and we can probably have this permit for you in the next probably 60 to 90 days. They said, that's acceptable to us. I said, well, looks like to me we've got an agreement here. And that was the end of the discussion. They had reviewed it before they came here and found that although they had up to, I think, 90 days, 120 days to complete the application and give the permit, that didn't mean they had to wait 90 to 120 days. And they'd met the criteria, and hence they were given the permit. Not only our director from Division of Oil, Gas, and Mining, but also the director, Mike Steyer from the Division of Natural Resources, said the decision to give them the permit happened based on the merits of the case, had even nothing to do with the fact that we had a meeting. Now, the allegation's been made that somehow, because a donation was given to my campaign, that there was some kind of quid pro quo. That's just absolutely, again, false. I didn't know that he'd given any money to my campaign. I didn't know it until the press came and told me about it, although it had been posted as per my instructions with my campaign people as a voluntary compliance. So this is not a law that's required. When I get a donation within the week that we get it, we post it online so people can see who's given money to my campaign. I believe in openness. I believe in transparency. Evidently, their partner in Florida had mailed a check in that happened to come in that same week and was deposited that week that we met with the folks. I don't think even the people that were here knew that. I didn't know it. And like I say, although it was posted in in October, it was brought to light by somebody in the press and fostered by my opponent in the governor's race as somehow a quid pro quo. It came out in January, even though it had been available since the past October. So there was no quid pro quo. It was more a coincidence than anything. And again, I had no influence on the decision being made anyway. They actually complied with the law. Now, I know the residents down there are concerned about the truck traffic is the biggest thing. This is on private land. It's their own land. This is not public land. It's their own private land. They have the right to mine their own property and do so as they comply with the law. Now, all they were saying is, look, we waited 2.5 years. You know, we ought to be able to get a permit if we've complied with the law. And you know, that's right. They should.